Stay with education matters for a bit. After that spot check, there's still the COVID-19 guidelines that all schools have to adhere to. And I'll show you some of them here. One of them is social distancing in classes and in dormitories. That is also where the rubber meets the road. Breaks are supposed to be held at intervals. Temperature checks are mandatory. One of the things that is now changing is that all the students must have the mask. But the Ministry of Education's decision to rescind a directive that would see all the learners acquire masks from the government could prove an impediment in efforts to contain the spread of COVID-19 in schools. As Marian Nyambura now reports, a number of students in different schools showed up without masks during the day of reopening for the schools.
Sit down.
As learning in schools get underway again in the country, new challenges are cropping up. Learners appearing at school without masks in some areas. In Kitui County, the lack of masks was evident, with school principals seeking intervention from well-wishers to acquire masks, sanitizers and hand-washing points as they donated what was available to them on the first day. At Mwingi Primary School, the pupils were in a similar state of confusion as they arrived at school without masks. The school head teacher urging parents to ensure they buy 7 masks on a weekly basis for their children.
I wanted to request the parents to buy the masks for their children because we don't have the budget for the masks. And because right now we have some boys who are saying they are forgotten, some don't even have them, and they'll be risking their life here in school if they don't have the masks.
In June this year, Education CS Professor George Magoha announced that the government was mulling providing masks for learners countrywide. However, that appears not to have been achieved, with the government asking parents and guardians to buy masks for learners.
We may not have to provide masks for all the parents, and the position is that we shall provide masks for the less fortunate children.
At the Lenana Primary School in Nakuru, Class 8 pupils in one of the streams participated in a science revision lesson at noon. The teacher and the students in masks throughout the 40-minute lesson. The desks too arranged to conform to the 1.5-meter social distancing rule. At the Kenyatta Primary School in Nakuru West, grade 4 pupils were adopting to the new seating arrangement. 2 pupils are required to sit at the farthest end of one desk. The number of pupils per class also reduced to 24, creating a second stream for the grade 4 pupils who would otherwise fill this room.
Kwa kawaida, wanafunzi watatu huwa wanatumia dawati moja. Na kwa sasa tumehakikisha kuwa wanafunzi wawili wanatumia dawati moja, ambapo wao wanafunzi wawili, mmoja anakaa mwisho upande ile na mwisho upande ile, na tumeweza kupima dawati ni zaidi ya mita moja.
Boarding schools too have been forced to conform to the new normal. At the Nyeri Primary School, each pupil will occupy the double-decker bed as opposed to what was witnessed in the past. At the Kenya High School, the school management allowed each Form 4 student to occupy a cubicle to avoid crowding in the dormitories.
We are expecting 295 girls. Those are our candidates. And therefore, for every dorm, every house we are housing, we are planning to take 30 to 32. These houses previously were taking 126 girls. So they are now getting occupied to 30 to 32 students.
As schools continue to effect measures to combat COVID-19 by putting up notices and setting up wash points, the task ahead for school heads and teachers is to ensure that all students adhere to high hygiene standards under little or no supervision, more so when students leave the school premises for home. Marian Nyambura, Citizen TV.